I think it's fair to say, ladies and gentlemen, after the Sounds of Peace Choir yesterday and the Gaziantep folk group, dance group today, we have been treated to a fantastic insight to Turkish culture. So thank you to the dance group. Put your hands together again, please, and say thank you. So we're now moving to our closing plenary, and in terms of the flow, we have 5 closing speakers from different important agencies and co-hosts. I'm glad to say that we believe there'll be between 25 and 30 founding signatories to the Gaziantep Declaration, which I think is good news. 25 is a nice figure. It could be up to 30, and I think it will keep building between now and the Geneva, the Global Refugee Forum in Geneva in December. So I should congratulate absolutely the organizing team, but perhaps we can do that at the end. But I think that's a great result. So thank you for those signatories. And as I understand it, after each speaker gives their closing comments, they will also sign the declaration. So again, I think that's a great result. Congratulations to everybody, and particularly to the participants and the mayors who've taken the decision to sign the declaration. Now all we have to do is implement at speed, at pace globally, and that will be a great result. So I'd like to welcome, as the first speaker, Mehmet Duman, who's the Secretary General and Chairman for UCLG-MEWA, Chairman of the Executive Board, and also for the World Academy for Local Government and Democracy. So welcome, Mr. Chairman, the floor is yours.
Sayın Gaziantep Büyükşehir Belediyesi Başkan Vekili,
Distinguished Deputy Mayor of Gaziantep Metropolitan Municipality, distinguished representatives of international organizations, distinguished mayors, ladies and gentlemen. After 2 tiring days, now we have achieved to the closing session. Working together, collaborating is indeed a difficult task. If you have seen here, there are many partners in the organization of this activity. And as Mr. Presenter has stated, I am the Secretary General of United Cities and Local Governments Middle East and Western Asia Organization, UCL-MEWA, and I'm also the President of the Executive Committee of the World Local Government and Democracy Academy. And I would like to thank you all for your contribution and your participation. Both of my organizations are paying close attention to the subject of this forum, and they have been carrying out worldwide studies in this subject. As WALD, we have been carrying out refugee-related works in Istanbul and Ankara, and also as UCLG-MEWA, we have been working closely on social inclusion, which is one of our 6 committees. And in this committee, we are working for the disabled persons, women, children, and the migrants who had to migrate. Our arrival to this point didn't take place in a few days. It has been a process of 1.5 years almost. We have gathered together with the related institutions and we have achieved the happy ending that we have been experiencing today. Here we have found an opportunity to listen to many experiences from different parts of the world, from different perspectives. We have dealt with the phenomenon of migration, migrant and refugees, and we have listened to local experiences. There we have listened to different approaches and a variety of recommendations. As far as I have found out, there were some recommendations which are really needed in my opinion. I would like to share them with you. First of all, under the municipalities, there is a need for establishing a unit for migration and harmony. And the municipalities should have a unit for carrying out those bureaucratic works. And politically, this is also a need. We have construction committees and other committees in the municipalities. So the municipalities should also have another committee for migration and cohesion. Some of the municipalities have city councils, and those municipalities should handle this issue, and they should set up working groups about migration and social cohesion, similarly to the youth assemblies and women's assemblies. They should have organized those assemblies about migration and cohesion. Apart from that, there was another issue that we have heard very often from the mayors: lack of information. If you cannot measure something, you cannot manage it. In countries, including Turkey, we have migration administration. However, the migration administration has some problems in sharing its information with the local governments. Therefore, our local governments should have their own statistics departments, and the evaluations should take place under the auspices of the local governments. It would be very beneficial. If we know what is going on in our municipality, if we know who lives in our city, town, and what their needs are, if we can make statistical analysis, we can achieve good results. And in this context, the local governments should have those kind of units. In the past, there were some units called APK. Later, these have been renamed as R&D, Research and Development Units. So those units should be established in the R&D departments. So each R&D department should have a statistics unit in itself for conducting the assessments. Here on the list you see many institutions who have gathered together for preparation of this declaration, and as Mr. Presenter said, more than 25 signatories are there, and maybe after this session we are going to raise the number of signing parties. Also, we have made talks with the stakeholders, and we have discussed establishing a task force, global task force, and from now on the work shall be supported through this task force, which would be at a global level. I hope that what we have discussed yesterday and today will not remain just as speeches. I hope that we will find an opportunity to implement them in our municipalities. And this task force is going to monitor it, and they will report to national authorities and international organizations. Actually, they will share. They will not report, but they will share the results of our works with national governments and international organizations and with other stakeholders. So I believe this meeting is much different compared to all other meetings, and we have also a document about the task force, And by signing that document, we are going to increase the number of volunteers who will take part in the task force. Gaziantep Metropolitan Municipality has opened its gates and they have hosted us. Together with all the organizing institutions, as you have seen their names on the chart, we have organized this UNDP, IOM, UNHCR, Turkish Union of Municipalities, and WALD-MEWA have co-organized this activity, and I would like to extend my hearty gratitude to everybody who exerted efforts for this organization. And also, I would like to thank to our interpreters and our technical team who facilitated our communication with you. And now I'm signing this declaration, and now I'm initiating this work. I'm extending my respect and love to you all.
I think a round of applause, Mr.
Güç.
Thank you very much, Secretary General and Chairman of UCLG-MEWA and WALD. I'd like to now call Jean-Marie Garelli, who's the Deputy Country Representative for UNHCR Turkey. The floor is yours.
Esteemed Deputy Metropolitan Mayor of Gaziantep, distinguished representative of governmental institutions, distinguished mayors from cities in Turkey and other countries, distinguished member of diplomatic mission, international organization, and non-governmental organization, dear partners and colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. On behalf of UNHCR, I would like to express my sincere appreciation for the work illustrated by the fruitful exchanges and the commitment made in the last 2 days. This forum represented a unique opportunity to foster networks, enhance contact, and build relationships between municipalities, local authorities, civil society members, and other policymakers. Most importantly, it provided the space to share and capture good practices on how local governments and municipalities are taking a leading role in responding to challenges posed and opportunities created by migration and forced displacement. The culmination of these efforts in the Gaziantep Declaration and the capturing and publication of good practices will form a reference tool, an essential guide for municipalities and local authorities to be used as a model globally. Against the backdrop of unprecedented level of displacement, this is increasingly important. As envisaged in the New York Declaration on Refugees and Migrants in 2016, the United Nations General Assembly affirmed the Global Compact on Refugees on December 2018. The Global Compact is a critical tool to increase burden sharing and responsibility sharing and to promote predictable response to displacement. The Global Compact on Refugees seeks to improve the response to refugee situation by, inter alia, providing stronger support to the countries and communities hosting refugees and simultaneously equipping refugees with the means to become more self-reliant. In this effort, municipalities are among the key actors enabling to concretely act and come up with practical solutions. Municipalities are recognized as critical partners in ensuring a comprehensive response to displacement as first responder to meet the humanitarian needs of refugees and displaced people, and as pillars in keeping and promoting social cohesion between community affected by displacement and municipality deserve to be further supported. In the last 2 days, the sessions clearly highlighted through real-life examples the critical and pivotal role municipality played in responding to the consequences of displacement, in meeting urgent needs, and in building self-reliance. The panel discussions also highlighted the important linkage between municipalities and central government and decision-making on resource mobilization, as well as exchange between municipality to enhance efficiency and respond to scale, ensuring that, for example, environmental concerns resulting from increased population are integrated at the onset of the response. We have been particularly keen to hear and learn from the practical and example given on how to create a safe space for refugees and maintaining social cohesion between different communities, the inclusion of refugees and migrants into municipal services, and as importantly, in local decision-making bodies. The work undertaken on promoting self-reliance was also particularly well showcased in putting forward the innovative approaches undertaken at the local level to not only address immediate humanitarian needs, but also to highlight the linkage to community resilience and self-reliance. Dear mayors and representatives of municipalities, we had the privilege to listen to your experience during these 2 days, but we also heard your request for more support at every level. And we should commit to make every possible effort to respond to your appeals. In less than a month, the first ever Global Refugee Forum will be held in Geneva. This will provide an opportunity for mayors' voices to be heard even louder and clearer in the global policy debates on refugees. The lesson learned from this forum and the good practices that have been captured will feed into the policy debates at the Global Refugees Forum. And we are working on having the commitment of the Gaziantep Declaration and the follow-up mechanism created under the auspices of UCLG feature prominently. Lastly, let me express my gratitude to our host, the Gaziantep Metropolitan and the Metropolitan Mayor and Deputy Mayor, as well as to the other co-organizing of the event, UNDP, IOM, WALD, UCLG, and the Union of Municipality of Turkey. The participation of so many municipalities and representatives of civil society in the forum embodies the spirit of the whole of society approach, a key principle of the Global Compact on Refugee and the Global Compact on Migrants. We are looking forward to continuing to work together with you all on the commitments and pledge made to promote predictable and comprehensive response to displacement across the world. This was a sincere pleasure. Thank you very much, and I'm now signing the declaration.
Jean-Marie, well done. Thank you. Monsieur Garelli, merci bien. And now I'd like to invite to the stage Lado, Gvilava, who is the Chief of Mission IOM Turkey. The floor is yours.
Before the speech, I can sign right away, I think. Ladies and gentlemen, dear participants, esteemed guests, it is truly an honor and privilege to have the opportunity to be part of this important occasion. This forum has one overriding objective: to be a summit of practical actions, plans, no platitudes. The discussions and takeaways over the past 2 days have delivered. They showed clear ambition of the concrete initiatives. I thank each of you for interesting discussions. We share the understanding that inclusion of vulnerable communities in today's polarized world is a political, social, and moral imperative. The many drivers of migration have left millions without a home or opportunity to live a normal life. People are on the move more than ever before, and pressure is mounting receiving communities. Difficulty to cope on both sides creates a tension. As the tension grows, local communities play a role of first responders to providing solutions and resources to ease this tension. Their work, supported and complemented by UN agencies such as IOM, UNHCR, and UNDP. It is paramount to developing inclusive, safe, and resilient cities around the world. Cities that embrace diversity, embrace a change, facilitate inclusion. Cities in which every resident has a chance at a better life. Cities like Gaziantep and others across 4 provinces in Turkey where IOM is doing its part to help municipalities implement projects that foster social and economic inclusion. These projects include establishing and supporting municipal migrant centers in Keçiören, Adana, Gaziantep, and Şanlıurfa. We work to build the capacity of these municipalities run resources centers to be service providers for refugees and migrants, providing them with essential legal, health, educational, vocational, and psychosocial support. To help facilitate economic inclusion, we provide quick impact grants to refugees, migrants, and host communities with creative business ideas and help them turn their ideas into thriving business opportunities. Social inclusion relies on having physical space for the people to come together, coexist, interact, build relationship and trust. For this reason, we have worked in 8 municipalities over the past 4 years to rehabilitate, upgrade parks, sports centers, laundrettes, and other public infrastructure. During this forum, many speakers and panelists touched on very important points that successful projects rely on strong partnerships. IOM has had the privilege to work with excellent partners who I would like to thank: the municipalities of Gaziantep, Şanlıurfa, Adana, Keçiören, Kilis, Kahramanmaraş, among others. Our work and our best practices shared at this forum over the past 2 days would not have been achieved without multi-sectoral partnerships and the shared belief that ownership belongs to those at the most local levels. We have witnessed the investments in municipalities goes a long way. In closing, as we sign Gaziantep Declaration, let us not forget the discussions we had here that helped bridge the gap between words and actions, between the ideals of inclusion and the policies and practices that enable communities to reap its benefits. No matter how divisive the world politics may be, let us focus on replicating the local solutions that bring us closer together and make life better for everyone. Thank you for your attention.
Congratulations. Thank you. Mr. Gvilava, thank you very much. Very insightful comments, huge experience in terms of the world of migrants and refugees. Thank you for that. I would now like to call to the stage Claudio Tomasi, who is the resident representative for UNDP Turkey. Claudio, the podium is yours.
Dear all, good afternoon. It's always very difficult to be towards the end of the list because everything has been said already. I will try not to repeat what my brilliant colleagues have said before, so let me start with a wholehearted thanks to the Gaziantep Municipality in the first place I think that once again you have shown us your tremendous hospitality, your heart. You have made each one of us feel at home during these 2 days. For us living in Ankara, that is well known. We have the luxury of being working with you. But for international participants, I think it was a very positive surprise and an experience. So thank you very much. I would like to have an applause for the Gaziantep municipality. Of course, I would like also, I'm starting with the thanks, so let me go through it, to the partners that have made this possible. In first place, the colleagues here, UNHCR, IOM, UCLG-MEWA, WALD, have been working day in, day out to make these 2 days and a half happen, of course, together with the Gaziantep municipality team. Let me also mention, because otherwise I'm sure nobody will do that, the team, the tremendous team that has made this possible. So our Master of Ceremony, Paul, thank you very much for your inspiring comments and capacity of leading the audience. Maria Ramos, thank you very much for TRT World for being here with us. And of course, the team, I would like to mention Leontine and Bastian especially, and all the others, because they've been working really hard to make this happen. The biggest, of course, thank goes to the participants and to the panelists who have made these 2 days a very energetic place to be. Normally, we go to conferences and meetings. By the opening, is full of people. By the end of first day, half of it is gone. By the second day, the energy is extremely low. I'm standing here in front of you. I see like very engaged faces still, numerous people here, which means that what has been discussed is A, relevant, and B, important in your lives and in our lives. I think this is the most important thing that I will take away from this event. We've been discussing about this for 1 year and a half, how to prepare it, how to manage it, what kind of messages, how to mix the different panelists, the invitation, and this and that. And I think that there was a very good mix during these 2 days, and a lot of brilliant ideas. I think I would like to take what Paul said this morning when he was presenting us that quadrant and those dichotomies. And one of them was policy cohesion versus policy chaos. And the other one was, if I'm not wrong, hope versus despair. I think that in these 2 days, we have not been moving in one direction or the other, but we have been very firmly grounded on reality. So I would say that hope and reality is what we have to focus on. We have listened to many mayors and organizations as well, but I would focus more on the local authorities. And I brought here to the stage very practical actions, things that have been done, positive, voluntarism, the work of the private sector, the civil society, the different kind of partnership that in each single context, in each single continent, here there were represented 4 continents, in each single culture takes slightly different forms. It's not exactly the same repetition of itself, but nevertheless goes in the same direction, in a direction of solidarity, acceptance, and integration. And this is happening, has been happening in Gaziantep for many years now, and we must and have to acknowledge that. And is a very important example also for us and for the rest of the world. This means that hope is not a dream. Hope is possible. Hope is something that is happening in reality. We're meeting at global levels, and we will meet in December, as you heard many times, for the Global Refugee Forum. There will be a lot of talks, a lot of declarations, important meetings. And when we talk about the nexus between humanitarian and development, that when it's in Geneva or New York, it sounds kind of empty to many ears, an empty concept. But when you come here and you listen to the mayors, you listen to each one of us, it becomes a reality. It's something that is been happening day in, day out. So this voice must be heard. And you remember at the very beginning we said one of the objectives of these 2 days is actually to give additional voice, to make sure that what mayors, what local authorities are discussing is brought into the international debate. And this is our firm commitment, and that's why we have come up with this idea of the Gaziantep Declaration. It's very important, because another thing that Paul was reminding us this morning is that the narrative that is going around is not a positive narrative. And we heard it in many panels, in the plenary and also in the breakup panels. The narrative is a narrative that goes generally against integration, against migration. There is a stigmatization even of solidarity. This is the world that we're moving in. So these positive voices, they are not dream voices or crazy ambitions. These are very realistic, grounded, real voices must be heard. And so it's very important for us to convey these messages through social media, through the networking, through different platforms and different ways. You have the full commitment, of course, on the UNDP side, and I can say also on the UN side to make sure that happens. Of course, and we heard about it, reality at the local level is not rosy either. It's not everything is successful and these actions solve all the problems. Quite the opposite. We heard about needs and unfulfilled promises as well. So we have heard about the big issue, the big elephant in the room yesterday, budgets, of course. Needs are bigger than available resources. What can be done about it? How resources can get where they have to go and they can reach out people, both the migrants or the refugees and the host communities. There is a big question that has not been answered, has been debated, but we have to keep it firmly in our heads and in our minds, because that leads to the scaling up, which was another recurring theme during the panels. How to scale up. And that brings us to the point that municipalities alone cannot solve things. They're the main and the first responders, but without a conducive national policy, it's not possible for municipalities to be successful and for their policy or their actions, better said, to be scaled up. Let's keep that in mind. And we heard here, we had the honor to have the Vice President, so brought in, of course, the national scale, the national point of view, highlighted very well the policies that Turkey is carrying out in that area. And that, to me, has been very useful also not to isolate this conversation only at the local level, because the different level of governance are important. And I include, of course, the international level of governance that we are working for and working in. And I would like maybe to conclude with that idea that as much as municipalities and local level are interdependent and working with the national levels, and that must be improved in many cases, this is the same for international organizations. International organizations, the UN, others, they must always ground their action at the local level, helping creating this network, helping sharing this information. There was another very interesting discussion, I think, that we agree. Information is not shared, is not known enough. And that goes back to the idea of the negative versus the positive narrative. And this is only possible with partnership. And that maybe will be my very last point, connecting it to the larger agenda, the Agenda 2030 of the sustainable development that many, well, all countries have adopted, internationally we have adopted, and in many local situations, municipalities around the world have been adopted. This is only possible through partnership. It's only by the different levels working together. And that there is only one physical place where this happens and actually meets is at the local level, because where normal people live, meet, work, are born and die. So that's why the role of municipality and local government is central to this. It's not a corollary. And we will do anything that is possible to bring up that voice as much as possible. I promise this was the last idea, but a very last occurred to me and became evident is that we didn't have enough time. And I had the feeling many times that, and I had the feedback from many of you, interesting discussion, great ideas, but sometimes we would have liked to go a little bit more in depth, to strengthen the network, to go more into the details. So maybe I'm just launching the idea, this could turn from an international forum on local solution to migration and displacement into the first forum. So let's see, this is not a commitment on our side, but it's an idea that I would like to throw to the other co-organizer and to the mayors present here to see how we can keep up this good work that we have started. Without any further additional idea, I would like once again to thank you very much on behalf of UNDP, and of course we will be signing the Gaziantep Declaration now. Thank you very much.
Claudio. Just let me slightly, very briefly echo Claudio's thanks. Thanks to UNDP, the incredible UNDP team who I've worked with over the last year intermittently. Unbelievable. And this is after many years of doing things like this. Unbelievable. Claudio, you're lucky to have a team like that, and UNDP are. Also to the other co-hosts and the Gaziantep Municipality for entrusting me to play the role of Master of Ceremonies. It's been insightful, really good fun. I've learned a lot. Thank you very much indeed. And one last thank you to our brilliant colleague, Maria Rosa, who just lights the event up in every way and then digs in to the depth and creates a wonderful, positive tension that allows people to express their views and opinions. Maria, please put your hands together for Maria Rosa. And with that, I'd like to invite Latif Karadağ, who's the Deputy Mayor, Gaziantep Municipality, to close the event and to sign the declaration. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, first of all, we are more than happy to be hosting you in this beautiful city of history, gastronomy, culture, and civilizations. Once again, we are more than happy to be hosting you here. You are welcome again, and we are honored with your visit to Gaziantep. Of course, migration is as old as human history, and migration has been a phenomenon throughout human history. But the municipalities and local governments' primary role and duty is to serve the residents of a city, but migration management is an essential part of these services. The success of migration management and cohesion management makes a huge contribution to the satisfaction of the residents of the city, the host communities. We have an 8-year experience about migration management, maybe about the local practices. This was unprecedented, but we had it in our region in past years. In former years, the migrations from Bulgaria, from Iraq we had, and from Afghanistan we had migrants coming to our country, and our region and Gaziantep had these migration issues and managed migration, but this scale and this size of migration flow was never seen. All people living in Gaziantep experienced it together, and as the local governments, maybe it was a little bit neglected so far, and Mehmet Bey mentioned, UCLG-MEWA Secretary General mentioned, a department should be established for migration management. In Gaziantep Metropolitan Municipality, we have a separate department for migration management. And Claudio Tomasi, UNDP Country Director, we have a close cooperation with them, and it's a reality of Gaziantep. Yes, our Mayor, Ms. Fatma Shahin, explained the Gaziantep model yesterday in details. This Gaziantep model is about migration that we experience here in Gaziantep. It's not something new for Gaziantep. Gaziantep has a potential for industry and tourism, and we had domestic migration, but in the last 8 years, due to this Syrian migration flow, it has a different dimension now. It's international migration. And for the last 8 years, thanks to the support of partnering institutions, we have made a huge effort. Before coming to the program in the morning, we were at an accommodation center and a service center for the orphan migrant children, a center to serve the orphan migrant children. They have become a part of our daily life. In addition to our 8 years experience throughout the 2-day sessions, esteemed panelists and the speakers of the sessions and the moderators and the mayors and the representatives of the NGOs provided and opened a new horizon and brought a new perspective, and their experience sharings made a huge contribution, and we will continue to cooperate based on this collaboration. First, I would like to extend our thanks to participants who made to hear from different parts of the world, distinguished mayors, respected representatives of NGOs, and the managers and administrators. Throughout the 2 days, you couldn't have the opportunity to go out and visit Gaziantep, but you had a teaser of Gaziantep, a city of history, and we hope that we will welcome you in Gaziantep to enjoy every beauty, every beautiful, delicious food and other beauties of Gaziantep. Please come and visit Gaziantep again. Once again, taking this opportunity, all our partnering institutions, UNDP, UNHCR, IOM, WALD, Union of Municipalities, and all our participants and our partners, thank you very much. And the personnel and the staff of the municipalities and partnering organizations, our thanks and appreciation goes to each and every one of them. Thank you very much. Yes, we have a declaration which has been signed by more than 30 signatories, and it will convey our message to the Global Forum in December, and we will learn our lesson. We call it Gaziantep model, but all these articles in Gaziantep Declaration will be closely followed. And we are looking forward to develop this governance and collaboration model in other spheres of cooperation with other. Once again, please accept my thanks, heartfelt thanks for your participation. And on behalf of Metropolitan Mayor of Gaziantep and Metropolitan Municipality of Gaziantep, I sign this declaration with happiness. And once again, on this opportunity, I would like to convey best regards of our Mayor Fatma Şahin. And we wish that you will have a safe travel back to your hometowns. And please convey our best regards to the residents and the citizens of your cities. Thank you.
Signs, I'm going to ask him to stay on the stage. We will then have 3 photographs. The first, I would invite any of the founding mayors to join Mr. Karadağ, if you can stay with us. The second photograph will be the mayors and the co-hosts, and the final one will be everyone, okay? So, Mr. Karadağ, congratulations. We're delighted you've signed, and 30 plus signatories. It's a tremendous achievement, so thank you. Can I ask the mayors to join Mr. Karadağ for the mayoral photograph, please, if we have mayors in the audience. And can we have a huge round of applause?